Liam Lawson didn't do well in the China race. His bad qualifying practice turned into an okay race where he finished 16th place. Red Bull is now thinking seriously about replacing Lawson with Tsunoda as soon as the Japanese Grand Prix. The team thinks that the car just isn't right for the New Zealand driver. Max Verstappen said he agrees with this idea, and Yuki also made comments about taking over Red Bull's seat. Can we see things made fair? Can Tsunoda finally be Verstappen's teammate starting from his home race in Japan? There's no doubt that Lawson's start of the season was terrible. In the 3 qualifying sessions, 2 for the main race events and 1 for the sprint race in China, Lawson had 2 20th place finishes and 1 8th place in Melbourne. This is a disaster for a team that hired a driver with the only purpose of reducing the damage that Perez caused in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull understood this quite well. A decision has likely been made after the first 2 races of the season. We might be seeing the shortest time ever of a Red Bull driver. After Tsunoda's amazing results in qualifying and the strategy of AlphaTauri being the main reason why he doesn't have more points for the team, it seems like Red Bull are ready to make the change with Lawson and swap him with Yuki. Definitely be one of the shortest times ever for the New Zealand driver that Red Bull have ever had in their history. But it's not something they could stop thinking about since his performance doesn't really show any kind of improvement at all. Lawson understood that while he does need time to show results on the table, he doesn't really have that luxury to. This marker replied, "He's right." This short answer shows that the talks are already happening. The same has been confirmed by Christian Horner, who was asked by Ted Kravitz a very good question. The Sky F1 reporter said, "But you need Lawson to score the Constructors' Championship points. You didn't pay off Perez for this, did you? I mean, the point was to replace Perez with a faster driver, and he's just not a faster driver." Horner didn't really have any strong answer to this, as he went on to say, "Diplomatically, as I said, we'll have a good look at it and we'll do what we can tomorrow." It seems like Red Bull have decided to call an urgent meeting in Milton Keynes, the headquarters of the team, where they'll decide what will be done with both of the drivers that they have available. And talking about this, Marco has gone on to say this week there is a meeting in Milton Keynes to discuss when and how we can close the gap. Until then, it's about scoring as many points as possible. We're worried, but it's not like we're giving up. It's all written in the stars. The RB21 is definitely one of the hardest cars to control on the grid. What is more important is that probably every other driver will struggle to get used to it. But it's not like they need to beat Verstappen in order to keep the seat alive. Being close to him like the Ferrari and McLaren drivers are would be far more okay. Even in Mercedes, we see Antonelli being a rookie and scoring points regularly, even though he's not expected to be challenging Russell every week, although that would be a huge bonus for the team. But with Verstappen saying that Lawson would be much better in the AlphaTauri than being his teammate, it's safe to think that Liam just doesn't have that much trust from the entire Austrian team. When talking about the car's performance and how his teammate is handling it so far, Verstappen's gone on to say, "I mean, the AlphaTauri drivers are doing very well. They're very close to me. Maybe that also says something. Are we the 4th fastest team? That's how it feels to me. I think Liam Lawson would go faster in the Racing Bulls car. Our car is extremely difficult. If you look at the difference between the 2 drivers on the other teams, they're all closer together. The AlphaTauri is easier to drive than ours. I also noticed that when I talked to Liam last year, I didn't think the difference between him and Tsunoda was that big. Otherwise, the team wouldn't make the choice to put him in a Red Bull either." No matter how you look at this situation, Lawson is in trouble because he has been expected to perform right away. The drop from what we expected and what he delivered was just far from what anyone could predict. It's even worse than what Perez brought to the table. Again, had it not been for the amazing driving of Verstappen, Red Bull would have been a middle-of-the-pack team at best. But that is also showing a lot of signs that the Dutch driver might think about leaving Red Bull sooner rather than later, because if the car is getting more and more difficult to drive, then it's safe to think that the 4-time world champion would look for his chances somewhere else. Obviously, a serious candidate has been found in Yuki Tsunoda, who has been waiting for an opportunity like this for quite a while. The Japanese driver has done everything that's been asked of him. He even went so far as to say that Lawson got the seat because of political reasons, not performance-related ones. When talking about being the replacement of Lawson as early as in Japan, Tsunoda has gone on to say, "Yeah, why not? I'm always ready. In Japan, yeah, 100%. I mean, the car is faster." This is when he got pulled aside by a Racing Bulls PR person, which also suggests that they don't want to create additional pressure and problems where there's no particular reason to do so. But again, the situation can only get worse for Lawson because he's been under huge pressure before the season even began. To see these talks happen after the second race of the season, you just cannot have more pressure as a new driver in Red Bull. When the standard is being set so high from Verstappen, the least that is expected from the second driver is to score points regularly. The problem would have been emphasized even more had it not been for the poor tactics and strategy from AlphaTauri. Tsunoda missed out on great finishes in both the Chinese and the Australian Grand Prix. But nevertheless, the improvement in performance compared to last year has been noted by Marco, who didn't shy away from talking about it publicly. When addressing this situation, the veteran Austrian said you changed his management and has been performing absolutely top-notch so far. He's in the form of his life and has made another huge leap this year. Yuki is a different Yuki from the years before. He's more mature. It took a while, but now it looks like it's working. This is the type of driver that needs to be given a chance in Red Bull. Realistically, everybody questions why Red Bull gave the opportunity to Lawson, who only had 11 race starts before his Red Bull debut, compared to Tsunoda, who was a far more accomplished driver. If you already choose to replace a struggling driver in your main team, then you're either bringing in an outside hire like Sainz or somebody who has a proven record on track. Despite this record being shadowed by the mistakes and the anger that Yuki has shown on his radio messages in the past, this might be the reason why he believes that Lawson got the seat over him due to political reasons and not performance-related reasons, because, even before the promotion, he was up 6-0 in qualifying in 2024's last races of the season. The last time that Lawson outqualified Tsunoda was in 2023's Singapore Grand Prix, even though he didn't have a full season to prove himself in 2024. The decision to promote him was quite questionable and brought a lot of unknowns into the Austrian team. Explaining this matter and giving his personal view as to why he wasn't promoted until now, Tsunoda went on to say, "I didn't really ask why Lawson got that seat over me. I think Christian mentioned it's not about performance. From what I heard from other people, they're saying that it's not performance related, it's more like a political decision. I don't know, maybe Christian didn't really say specifically what the reason was. I didn't care really. Whatever they say, I don't know if it's true or not, to be honest. In the end, I just told them how I feel, how I'm still motivated for next season, and that's it." The next couple of days are going to be very important for both Lawson and Tsunoda, because the team would have to decide both of their futures. But from what we can see in the first two races of this season, Red Bull might have made a decision about the swap. It's one that Lawson isn't going to like. While many would say that he needs time to adapt and that Red Bull is not really competitive in the Constructors' Championship in terms of winning it, this is a team that does not accept such poor performances. Qualifying exists on a pure speed. The basis, therefore, Tsunoda might receive the greatest gift from Red Bull in front of his home crowd in Japan, promoted next to Verstappen, where he can prove that he is the right choice for the Austrian team despite all the setbacks he suffered from them in the past. With all of this in mind, do you think that Lawson would be fired by Red Bull and put in the AlphaTauri seat? And more importantly, if the team decides to do that, do you think that Tsunoda will make a much better teammate for Verstappen and keep the team's hopes alive in the Constructors' Championship? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.